What's up, everybody? This is BakaBites. I'm Frankfurter. That's Magically Average. And today we are going to be talking about our top 5 favorite ongoing series from Shonen Jump. Now, let's put some stipulations on this. This is our top 5. This is what we enjoyed. This is our
Mhm.
list. If you don't agree with it, that's your opinion. This is our opinion. However, growing up, I loved top 5 lists, whether it be like fuck, what's the one giant YouTube
Here are the top
channel?
5 MTV videos of this week.
Yeah, whether it
At
be like
number 5,
MTV.
it's Feel Good Inc. by the Gorillas.
Whether it be like, MTV with music videos, or back in the day, I used to watch Screw Attack videos all the time, which they
Oh,
had a bunch
God.
of like top 10, top 5, which we can not talk about Screw Attack right now. It's fine.
Yeah.
But Watch Mojo as well. Like, I love all those stupid lists, and I just wanted to bring that to the table here because I'm scraping for the
We're
bottom of the
stupid,
barrel right now.
and we're
I'm
stupid, and
scraping.
we're making a list.
Yes, exactly. But no, I really love doing top fives. I really enjoy seeing other people's top fives, whether their opinions are correct or align or don't align. I shouldn't say correct, whether they align with mine or not. So I'm gonna list off real quick. The reason why we're also doing this is for the fact that My Hero Academia just ended, so that will not be on anybody's list or not eligible for anybody's list. So this is now the top 5 of the current Shonen Jump, and I should say, preface this, the Sunday releases series. So those releases, in no specific order, they are Sakamoto Days, Miun Roboco, One Piece, The Elusive Samurai, Akane Banashi. We're not doing My Hero anymore. Blue Box, Jujutsu Kaisen, Kagurabachi, Hima 10, Witch Watch, Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi, Undead Unluck, Mission Yozakura Family, News Exorcist, Super Psychic Policeman Chojo, which, Jesus Christ, if that's on your top 5, reevaluate.
Hey, don't. Okay.
Astro Royale, Kill Blue, Psych House, uh, Kyokuto Necromance, and Yokai Buster Murakami. So those are the eligible bachelor and bachelorettes for our list.
Ah.
And to start us off at number 5, I'm going to throw in Sakamoto Days. And this one was kind of like a toss up for me in the sense of I didn't know if I wanted to put Sakamoto Days here or Undead Unluck here. And I think that as much as I do really enjoy Undead Unluck, they've had a few too many arcs where it's just lulled and just been really not great,
Hmm.
that I'm like, okay, that would be like the runner up. I got to give it to Sakamoto Days. Sakamoto Days is one of those series that it's probably the first one that I started reading the week it came out, and it's just been going on and on and on. So this was like one of the first series that I started that has just been a longer series.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't remember every single detail about this series, but I do really enjoy it. I think it's a fun series. It's finally coming out as an anime next year. I think in January of 2025 on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and it's a delightful series. Do I get some of the characters confused because they look similar and everything's in black and white? Yes, sure, sometimes. But at the same time, I do really enjoy this series. I think it's a blast and a fun series. It's not overly serious. So
Yeah.
that's my number 5.
My number 5 is, I mean, I'm not reading a lot of the Sundays, if I'm being honest. I think I'm reading 6 out of the 21. So only one's getting cut from the top 5, which is not saying much, honestly. But if I had to give a number 5 spot, I it doesn't deserve it because honestly, I wouldn't put it in my top 5 normally. But I guess it has to go to Jujutsu Kaisen. It's
Yeah.
just it's been so rough. It's been so rough. Like the last like 70 chapters. It's been awful. I'm so tired of it. It's one of those ones where you are just expecting everything to end one way, but you know it's not going to happen that way. You're like, this makes the most sense, albeit it's not going to be the fan favorite, but this makes the most sense. I just have this gut feeling it's not the case. Because
Yeah.
nothing that's sequenced so far over the last probably like 120 chapters has gone the way that I thought. So it's just, I'm like, whatever. I'm like, just end it, please. Put me out of my misery. I'm sick and tired of, like, the amount of times I've had to reread a panel because the characters explaining someone's ability has to be also explained through another person's perspective. So someone's explaining someone else explaining someone's ability. Like, that's how layered and convoluted and ridiculous this manga is becoming. Like, I know people are gonna say, well, it supposedly was supposed to stop after this point, like a certain point, and I know, like, it's easy to see, like, it's very plain to see that it should have stopped probably 100 so odd chapters ago, and they've continued it on. They're like, give them the benefit of the doubt. No, not anymore.
That's
Not anymore.
similar to like Undead Unluck. There was a point in time where you could see it and you're like, this would be a perfect ending. This would be great. And then
Yeah,
they're just like, let's go for a round two. And this time we'll do it without one of the main characters. And you're
yeah.
like, what? Excuse me?
It's that, it's the age old situation of like having, not realizing you've created something fantastic, because I think Jujutsu Kaisen started off as like they were just going to do what ended up being Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Like that was going to be the complete edition of Jujutsu Kaisen. But they had
Hmm.
released it and they were like, "Nope. This is fucking fantastic. You're going to serialize this, get to writing." And they
I
just had
think,
to start making stuff.
if I'm not mistaken, JJK Zero came out after
I I
everything
believe,
else.
yeah, the physical volume. I believe how it goes though is that like JJK 0 was the original, like the origins basically of the story, and when they
Yeah, it
produced
was.
it, but then when the creator produced it, the studio was like, or the manga studio was like, this is great, it's getting serialized, start it up. And they're like, oh crap. So then they had to like just start developing a new story, but it was supposed to be contained within just JJK 0.
Hmm.
I believe that's how it goes. I believe that's what I've heard. It honestly, I've heard so many different things at this point about JJK. I could be completely off base, but yeah, I and I know
Yeah,
I could stop it. I could just stop, but I'm so deep that I
it's
have
supposed
to
to end
end.
this year too. That
I
it's
know it's
just like,
supposed to end. They said it. They said they're entering into the last arc. However long
yeah.
that arc's going to be, I don't know, but it's going to end foreseeably within the next 6 months. I think they got like,
Well,
because
the theoretically it's supposed to end before 2025. According to the author last year, I forget what yearly magazine thing
before
where they have
2025.
interviews. Yes, like this year is the last year for it.
I'm trying to do boy math in my
Mm.
head. So that means there's only like 16 chapters left.
Yeah, little less. Yeah, about 16 to 20, somewhere in there.
Yeah, because I mean that's if it's every Sunday, unless they do a special, I guess. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean even better. Great, cool, end it. Like
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
been painful.
I did not put it on my list because A, I have not read it, and B, I've just heard not great things about the
And
last just bit from you and from other people in
yeah,
general.
it's a shame too because again, like it's one of those ones where first half it's great, second half has just been a fucking slog. I know people will say the same thing about Chainsaw Man too, because it's a stark difference between part one and part two of Chainsaw Man as well. I get
Yeah.
it. I mean, you could say that about a lot of different series, but like the frustration of JJK is that I shouldn't have to read 70 chapters for them to just be explaining what other people are doing and then have that person also explain what they're doing to then have others go on side tangents explaining something else about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I need a fucking glossary to get through this to just understand what they're saying. And if I hear cursed technique or cursed energy one more time, I I might flip out. I might lose it.
That or domain expansion.
Domain expansion is not bad. It's when you read a paragraph of someone talking and they say their cursed energy, cursed technique uses inverted reversed cursed energy in order to amplify their cursed technique, thus preventing the cursed energy of the other cursed. And I'm like,
You're
I,
giving me an aneurysm.
yeah, I'm gonna have a breakdown.
Yeah. We'll just move on then. Number 4, what do you have, buddy?
Number 4, this is the one that I can never remember how to pronounce. It's the Kyokuto Necromance. That one's been
Oh,
fun.
really?
That one's been fun. I've liked it. I've liked it from the standpoint that it puts a different twist on like Shinigami style stuff of like afterlife and dealing with ghosts and spirits and how like necromancy works and stuff, and cleansing, and what the hell is the other word I'm thinking of? Exorcising. There we go.
Sure.
Spirits and demons and stuff. Like, I like that. I think it's interesting. It's not fantastic by any means, but again, keep in mind, I'm reading 6 of these Sundays that are coming out, okay? 6. All right. And spoiler alert, Sakamoto Days, I'm not currently reading or up to speed on. And I'm also not up to speed on Elusive Samurai. And I'm also, surprisingly enough, not up to speed on One Piece. So back off, everyone. Like, this is my 6. If you, spoiler alert, the one that I left out was Psych House.
I do enjoy
So,
Psych House a lot.
It's fun. It's just nothing happens.
Yeah,
It's
I
fun, but
agree.
nothing
But
happens.
to put a small damper on your number 4, your number 4 is getting the axe within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I could see it coming.
Yeah, everybody can.
Yeah, like it's not getting the type of viewership and readership that they were probably expecting. It is what it
No,
is.
it
I like,
is.
but
Accord-
yeah, I've come to the realization though that with any of these serialized like series that have been coming out, I can't get too attached. Right, I've gotten my heart ripped up by Ginka and Gluna. Shoujo Null is coming to an end, albeit it's not a Sunday, but like it's another series that's wrapping up soon. Right, I had a
That's a Thursday series, I think.
yeah, I think so.
Something
I
like
had
Yeah.
we both had the unfortunate shock of realizing that the
Greens.
no, not green greens was surprising. No,
That
the
one
more
hurt.
depressing one was the Banashi, the horse one. Where
Oh God,
yeah,
yeah,
where it was like
that
6
one was
chapters and it just ended, and it was like, you're ending at 6.
that was so
I
good.
loved it. It
I'm so
was,
hungry I could eat Banashi.
yes, I'm so hungry.
Something like
Thank you.
that.
And then there was the this from the same, is it Jump Plus, I think it is. The rice cooker one, like how to make like every meal in a
Oh
rice cooker or whatever.
yeah.
That one ended too. I have finally decided, nope, I am not getting attached to anything. I'm not even gonna get attached to Kagurabachi,
I
which
I've
I'm
got
like,
I've got one that I'm so attached to right now, and
I
it's on my
can't.
list.
I can't do it. Like, there's,
But
unless it's physical, unless I'm like getting it physical and I like can put a little bit more trust into it, I'm like, I can rest easily. But anything
yeah,
that I only read digital, I'm like, no.
nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
Can't get my heart ripped out anymore.
My number 4 is Kagurobachi. That one I
Oh, okay.
do think is going to have a lot of staying power. I know it's got a
Well,
lot of hype overseas in Japan, and a lot of people here in the States love it as well.
I think when it first dropped here, mind you, it had already been coming out in Japan, right? It's just when the English translation was coming out, right?
No, it dropped at the
Or was it
same
one
time.
dropped same time? All right,
Yeah,
shows how much I know. But I do know that when it did drop, there was already talks of it having a video game in
and
production
anime.
and an anime. Like,
Yeah,
basically it's a simultaneous, just, hey, this series is coming out and expect a video game and an anime like
yeah, and this
right
one
behind it.
it's got 44 chapters already out, so like I'm pretty sure it's relatively safe at this point.
Yeah. This is
So
this is going to be probably
this is going to
the
be My Hero Academia's kind of replacement slash maybe Jujutsu Kaisen's replacement because it's a more darker story than My Hero and it's kind of on the Jujutsu Kaisen spectrum.
yeah. Oh, I was gonna say Jujutsu Kaisen, but
Yeah,
yeah, because I
but
mean, it's hard to imagine a series like that getting the axe again. I can't trust anything. I
I
know
know. But
I know people are
this
gonna
is
be
my
like, there's physical volumes, and I'm like, yes, I know, but still.
yeah, this is my number 4 though. I've been really enjoying this series. It's a fun action series, and while it's not really funny, it is a good serious action series without like I feel like shonen does majority of shonen doesn't know whether or not it wants to be funny and actiony and have its moments of like seriousness or just like it just usually doesn't know what it wants to do. It just kind of plays itself back and forth in between all of those type of things. Like My Hero's a great example of that, in which the very kind of beginning of it is happy go lucky with some serious moments and then more happy go lucky and comedy. And then the last 100 plus chapters are deadbeat serious, just like you can't. There's a handful of laughing things, but they feel so like out of place that
Yeah.
you're just like pick a side. And I know Jujutsu Kaisen's similar in the same vein of just like it started out happy go lucky, funny. Oh, look at these funny characters, these wacky teenagers. They're having fun with their youth, and then just like let's kill everybody and make everything dark now and cursed magic, cursed user, cursed energy.
Well,
Like everything is kind of dark. Like no, like a majority of shonen just doesn't know which way it wants to go, and I feel like Kagurabachi is a bit of a breath of fresh air in the sense that there was never really any comedy. It just got straight into the seriousness and the action, and it's just like, here we are. We're gonna stay on this course. Let's go.
yeah.
And for that, I kind of really do appreciate it. But yeah, it's my number four. I know it's early on. It's 44 chapters in or 43, whatever I just said. But like, I've really been enjoying it. I know a lot of people have too.
Yeah.
I just with the end of this the last arc, which I really enjoyed, and I thought they did very well in. I'm really excited to see where they go in the next arc.
Yeah.
So that's my number four. I think it's pretty safe. My number three is where things get a little dicey
Hmm.
because I'm getting really attached to this one. This one, my number three, we're 5 chapters in. It's Hema 10.
Oh.
I think that this is a
It's
delightful,
and
delightful little
and
series.
chapter 6 will be the last.
No, please no. Yeah, Hema 10. If you don't know, it's a brand new series. There's 5 chapters out. Basically, the eldest son of the family takes side jobs after school to help pay for family expenses, etc. Because I think his father isn't around or passed away, and it's just his mom. And so he's basically very good at cleaning and has like a house cleaning side business. And one day, a basically girl who's the same age, a high school girl who runs her own fashion company, beauty product company, decides to transfer in. And I think that's more so they've kind of alluded to the sense of just like she did it just so she can maybe not necessarily live a normal life, but also just like get immediate feedback on products that she creates. But she joins the school and unknowingly hires the guy to clean her house, which is a pigsty. And they kind of carry out the secret relationship of classmates and kind of employee employer. And it's cute, it's funny. I've been enjoying the first 5 chapters, and I really adore this series. I really hope it has some staying power. It seems like it does. Like it hasn't dipped too much um, week over week in the Shonen Jump rankings. So, crossing my fingers
Yeah.
that this one has some staying power as well because I love this
Yep.
slice of life, and really honestly, Shonen Jump could use some more slice of lives.
Yeah. Uh,
So
you better
that's my
cross
number
them.
three.
Better cross them hard.
I really am because
Slice
like
of
it went from the lead color number one the first week to number four to number seven to number seven to number 10.
yeah.
So like we're already halfway down the list, and I'm just like, nope, nope, keep going back up,
Sli-
please.
Slice of life on Shonen Jump is hard because
It
because I
really
was gonna
is.
comment. I was gonna comment on what you were saying about Kagurabachi, and just say like the issue with Shonen Jump is you always have to remember that it's geared towards like young boys, like it's geared towards like kind of preteens, maybe just entering teens. So you have to be able to balance the comedic, lighthearted nature of a series while also still having the intensity that a lot of the readers of that age would still enjoy.
Yeah,
So it's always difficult releasing a pure slice of life.
rom-com slice of life
Yeah.
type series. I know.
Especially if you don't have a twist to it that's like entertaining, because like people will say like, well, what about Akane Banashi? It's like, right, but Akane Banashi's whole theme, like topic and twist to it, is that it's all about rakugo and like
And
the art of
it
rakugo, and like
and it
that's
follows the tropes in which it can have the tournament arcs, it can have the training arcs,
yeah,
it can have
exactly.
all those different types of things like most Shonen Jump series do.
Yep. Yeah. It's just it's hard when you fit yourself into this one aspect of like, oh, it's a guy that like loves doing household cleaning stuff and like, oh, it's a little bit effeminate, which is weird that they always bring that up. As I did read the first chapter or two. And then it's like, oh, then a girl who's like basically girl bossing her way through high school. Oh boy, how are these two personalities going to mesh? And what's going to happen when she hires him? It's like, it's too sitcom-y, I think.
Yeah.
That to the point where they have to really spice it up enough. Like, not like in a weird romancy way, but just like in a way that doesn't feel too redundant. And I find it, I know it's 5 chapters in, I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer, but like, it's got to make its move sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
With how fast this axe has been coming down on series, it's going to be tough.
I agree, but the fact that there's a few more series that are about to get the axe, My Hero Academia just ended. Like, I'm hoping that it just sticks around. Like, it just gets the golden ticket of we need something to fill this pages.
Yeah.
Keep it in.
Yeah.
So that's my hope. But that's my number 3. I know it's super early on, and I'm setting myself up for disaster, but it's one of those things like Green Green Greens. I've really thoroughly enjoyed Green Green Greens, but it got the axe, so it didn't make the list. But it's one of those things that I really hope. I have a lot of hope that it stays around. So, what's your number 3?
I can't wait to watch that hope just die from your eyes. The coldness that will fill your heart once Hematin is.
Awful.
Yeah. It's gonna be bad. And you know who's not gonna be there for you? Me. Because I warned you. I told you. You have to. No, I will not. No shoulder to cry on over here. My number 3 is Kagurabachi. We don't have to really talk about it because we've already talked about it. It's not only is it a breath of fresh air, but I like that, again, it's a series that doesn't need to do a lot to be entertaining.
Yeah.
And I like that. Like it's not to say that it's simplistic, because there is some depth to it, I think, like backstory wise,
with the mages and the swords.
Yeah, I think once they explore it more, I think right now, because of the mystery behind a lot of the aspects of everything, like with the mages and with the swords and the Great War that took place and everything, like a lot of things are just referenced. They haven't really been dove into in great detail yet. So I think that level of mystery is also adding to the enjoyment of it, where it's like, I just like what's going on, and I like the little breadcrumbs. It's enough. It's good. And I mean, it's a entertaining yet non-complex series, and I think that's good.
Yeah, no, complete agreement. Then if you didn't want to talk about that for too long because we've already talked about it, what's your number 2?
I'm pretty sure our top 2 are the same.
Nope.
I would imagine. No. How do you know?
Because you already said something that I know it's not on your list.
Oh.
So what's your number 2?
Ruri Dragon.
That's not. That's.
It was on the sheet. It was on the one sheet.
It's Jump Plus.
Well, I don't care.
It's now every 2 weeks. So
no, I don't. Doesn't matter. No, I don't care what it was now. I want to do what it was then. It was Sunday.
And now it's not. Well, it's
too
still
bad.
Technically Sunday. It's every other week.
Too bad. Tough Titties. It's Ruri Dragon. It's the only other one I'm reading. Chainsaw Man's not Sunday. Spy Family's not Sunday. Fucking all the other series I read aren't Sunday. Spy Family?
Family's every other Sunday.
Well, it's every other, so it's not technically on your list either.
It's Jump Plus. Yeah, I know. I don't have Spy Family on there. I read the list at the top of the show.
I did. I read it too. Ruri Dragon's on it. Ruri Dragon's literally.
Not.
Yes, it is. It's literally on your
screenshot I sent you.
Ruri Dragon is on the second list you sent me. You're like, use this one for today's podcast.
Yeah,
it's literally on there.
Did you read what I said after it?
I don't care what you said after it. It's on the list.
Actually, I don't know if Ruri Dragon is Shonen Jump or Shonen Jump Plus. It's Shonen Jump Plus now.
Well, then too bad. You made the mistake of sending me the article that had it as a Sunday, so whatever. Look, then my Sunday would go down to 5, and I'm not putting Psych House on the list because Psych House doesn't deserve to be in a top 5. Like I said, Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't even deserve to be in my top 5.
Yeah, no,
Your list is stupid. List is stupid, by the way. Also, I think it's stupid that it's limited to just the Sundays on Shonen Jump. Okay, I get it, all right? I understand why we do that. It's dumb, though. It's really stupid. Just because something is every other week doesn't mean it that different because it's Shonen Jump versus Shonen Jump Plus.
I
Suck
mean,
my
it's
butt.
in a different magazine, that's
Who
all.
cares? You don't read the goddamn magazine. It's not like you're going to your local 7-Eleven every fucking day to get the new magazine that comes out, asshole. It doesn't matter. At least I'm not saying like screw your list, Chainsaw Man, or screw your list, JoJo. Like at least I'm saying
I'm half surprised you did not put JoJo on there for the fact that it is like
how much of an
Shonen
asshole
Jump
am I?
adjacent.
At least I'm not being like JoJo's. I'm not even all the way caught up in JoJo lands, but JoJo's is mine. Let me just
This is
have
like
let me have Ruri Dragon. All right,
complete side tangent. When I was looking up the information as to what shows should be included on this list, it clicked in my brain finally that Oshinoko is a Shueisha property,
yeah.
but it's being published in the United States under Yen Press rather than in Viz, which is really fucking weird.
It's not that weird because Shueisha doesn't have like exclusive rights with Viz.
Right. Well, Viz, I believe, is not Viz not part of Shueisha?
I mean, likely, but it doesn't exclude other publishers from like licensing it and then publishing it in the U.S. Right? Because doesn't Seven Seas do some fucking obscure?
Yeah, Viz Media's parent company is Shogakukan Shueisha Productions.
Yeah, but is that Viz US or Viz Japan?
That's Viz US.
Okay, I don't know.
I just that one clicked in my brain. I was like, that's kind of weird.
All right, back to the subject. Rory Dragon's my number 2, and I don't care what you have to say about it. It came out on Sundays until the author got sick, and there was a massive hiatus, and then it came back, and it was originally coming out like every week, and then they pushed it to every 2 weeks, which is probably for the best.
If we are gonna include Ruri Dragon, my whole list would change. My 3, 4, and 5 would change.
Oh my god!
My 3 would be Ruri Dragon.
Baby.
My 4 would be Kagurabachi, and my 5 would be Himaten.
You're still an idiot for having Himaten in your top 5.
I know I am. I'm fully aware I'm setting myself up for disaster, but it's great. It's such a
You know what? Next time,
one of those series that I'm so happy to read every time that I'm just like I want the next chapter now.
Next time,
it gives me Skip and Loafer vibes of just this is so much fun. I just want to read more. I'm cutting you off every fucking time because I just love Himaten and I don't want you to shit fucking talk me. That's all.
I'm not gonna shit talk Himaten. All I was saying is next time you make hey, let's do this topic for the podcast. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to ask ChatGPT to write my script for me so I don't have to do any work. Be like, ChatGPT, what are the 5 weekly Shonen Jump series I should talk about? And give me details behind each one as if I read them. All right, that's what I'm going to do. Instead, you get the truth. You get the truth. Know what
the top 5 series are according to Jujinken.net, which is like the rankings for Shonen Jump?
Can I guess?
Yeah, guess. What are the top 5?
Top 5?
This includes My Hero Academia, by the way.
Okay, so one is One Piece, 2 is My Hero, 3 is Sakamoto.
Correct.
4 is Kagurabachi?
Nope. That is at number 8.
Wow, at 8. Okay, 4 is it's weekly though, right? So Spy Family wouldn't be on there, and Chainsaw Man wouldn't be on there.
Correct.
Well, sorry, Sunday release.
Correct. Spy Family is Sunday, but anyways,
it's every other fucking.
So you got the first 3. So number 4.
I'm gonna kick you in the balls so hard next time I see you.
Less than a month.
Yep. 4. Shit. Elusive Samurai. Oh no, is it the Yakuza family?
No, Elusive Samurai is 11. Yakuza family. What the one? Oh, no, the Mission Yozakura family is number 10.
Whatever. Mission Yozakura.
No. Number 4 is Akane Banashi.
I was going to say 5 for Akane Banashi. I didn't think it was going to be all the way up at 4, but all right, cool. What's 5 then?
Blue Box.
I don't care. I got the top 3 right in the exact order. That's pretty good. Granted, it's not that hard, but
yeah. So you're number 2, Ruri Dragon. Why is this series so special to you?
It is. It's funny that you didn't even comment on the fact that Ruri Dragon is basically just Himaten but dragon.
It's not though. It's different.
It does, and I was going to argue too that it's a very different vibe. It's got an insanely different feel from most other slice of life. It is the way I read most slice of life is in an over exaggerated manner, right? Like where everything is kind of pushed up a notch to be dramatic, right? Like where you read it and you're like, people normally don't interact this way, or like these things don't happen.
Right.
Rory Dragon, though, is the opposite, where it is almost as if you're just a fly on the wall in a classroom, or like you're just following around a group of students. One of them just happens to be a half dragon. Like that's
It's
it.
like, hey, whoa, those horns, are
Yeah,
those real?
like it goes like it is the most over exaggerated, magical, mystical type thing to happen in a very mundane, ordinary life. And I think
Yeah,
that adds to the appeal of it, where
I'd agree.
it is as pure of a slice of life as you can imagine, with just the twist of the main girl being half dragon. And I
Yeah,
like that enough. That in itself is enough to be like, okay, I really like this. This is fun. That's what I always look for in my slice of life too. And I've talked about it before. That like anime or manga, so long as there's a unique twist or flavor to it, you can have a pretty boring style slice of life, that you're trying to capture. But the kicker is always whatever twist or spice you can add to it that makes it entertaining, right? Like Comey Can't
yeah,
Communicate is a fairly like straightforward, boring, mundane type life, but the main character and one of the, I guess you would argue both main characters at this point, um,
yeah, they are.
like have a dynamic where one is just trying desperately to not be middle of the road, even though they're always middle of the road, and the other
I think
is
they were trying to be middle of the road.
Tadano. I mean, he was just always middle of the road. And then you have like
Um,
the most popular girl to have lived, who can't for the life of her make a friend
yeah,
because she has basically gets extremely shy and anxious in public and can't talk. Like that's
yep,
that's your twist. It's like I've talked about the dangers of my heart. Like that again. It's like very simple, but it has a great little added twist to it. Brewery Dragon is in that very same vein, where it's just the normal, same old day to day type life of a student who just happens to be a dragon. Like that's it, and it's wonderful. It's extremely entertaining, and it doesn't have to do much to be entertaining either. So
yeah,
that's I think that's part of the reason why Rory Dragon I feel would be the type of slice of life that could make it in a Shonen Jump, like could go further and further just as it is, where something like a Hematon, and again I'm only using it just because it's like the one other real slice of life that's popular-ish, next to I guess Psych House, um, where like something like Hematon has to really fight for their spot to stay alive, because it's just I feel like it's just not enough. It's not enough to just have this. He cleans houses. She's a big CEO, rich girl, but she's a slob. Oh, how are they going to get along? Because their personalities clash all the time. Tune in next week, and it's like I don't really want to tune in. It's not. It doesn't hook me. But a dragon girl, okay,
hell
you
yeah,
got me. You got me.
nailed it. Yeah, no, I didn't include it just because the stipulation.
You can put an asterisk. It's fine. Whatever. I don't care.
Regardless, I do adore that series as well. I think just kind of the pacing of it and how slow it is, but yet it seems rather quick as well, for the fact that a new power will pop up and just like, okay, how do we deal with it? Where you dealt with it? Okay, what next? Let's go
Yeah.
bowling with mom and work off some excess energy, etc. And just like the levity of it is very nice.
Yeah.
After reading something like Kagurabachi or Kill Blue or News Exorcist, etc. So it's like you go from one action packed freaking chapter to another, and then it's just like I need to put on the brakes, full
Yeah.
stop, and just
Like
relax. And Ruri Dragon is a nice departure from everything else.
I think half of the last chapter I read was her having to catch up in classes because she missed time when she first had her dragon powers kind of begin.
Yeah.
And so it's just a study hall at a restaurant. That was like
Yep.
half the chapter. And I'm like, this is a joy to read. I love this. This is
I'd
nothing's
agree.
happening, nothing's even happening, and it's great.
Exactly. But for the sake of my list, my number 2 is One Piece, which you had
Yeah.
said that you were not reading. I think One Piece is great. I know that, there's 1100 chapters or whatever the fuck it is of One Piece, but it's one of those things that it is fantastic for a reason. It's been around for a long time for a reason.
Yeah.
Um, it is an epic of sorts. Not in the sense of just like I think all of it is epic, but it is an epic. It is a really good adventure story. Do I suggest? Will I ever recommend reading it? No. There's way too many fucking chapters. But if you have nothing to do on your time and you have an ADHD brain like me, absolutely go for it. Enjoy it. It's a great series if you want to invest the time in it. Not every single arc of it is, insanely great, nor are they even relatively good. Some of them are just straight up bad. But the really great arcs and the better parts of One Piece far outweigh the bad. And so that's why I can like safely put this at a number 2 or, even at a number 1 if I wanted to. But
Mhm.
I think that it's been around for a long time for a reason, and it's for a good reason. I know a lot of people don't like it for whatever reason. But to me, I thoroughly enjoy this series week after week. And the new arc that they're about to hop into, I'm really looking forward to with what just happened in the current past arc.
Oh, quick
Yes.
side note. I saw a video where these girls at a con were like, One Piece is trash. It looks ugly. And I'm like,
It
it's
came out in 1997. What the
also,
fuck do you want?
it's stylistic. It's not like they must be comparing it to like Demon Slayer, but I'm like, I'm always thrown off by people saying like, I won't watch something because it's ugly. For me, and I know
Yeah.
people would be like, you're a hypocrite. You don't watch CG stuff. CG stuff is just, it's challenging to watch. Like, some of it is the aesthetics of it, and it has to fit with whatever I'm watching. Like, for instance, when I finally get around to watching Girls Band Cry when it comes out, but unfortunately, it's only coming out on like Hulu Video and you Prime Video and stuff. You have to like basically rent it or buy it. It's super annoying. Don't. And I'm very frustrated by it. But anyway, like that's something I could probably get into because it's more fluid band concert style animation with like just slice of life. Like I'm not gonna Trigun. I might try Trigun Stampede because it
I
looks
will say
freaking
I
amazing.
Trigun Stampede was
Yeah,
incredible. I
but
thought
like,
that show was great.
but like the one that just comes to mind immediately is the uh, Duke of Death and his maid or whatever.
Oh
That
yeah.
one just like I'm like, first off, doesn't really interest me in terms of like the story either. But I'm like, I see clips and people are like, I love this anime. It looks gorgeous, and I'm like, good on you, because I don't think it looks good. It looks clunky. It looks rough. Like I don't know. It's a little off-putting. But yeah, for people to be like, One Piece looks like ass, and I'm like, yo, it's been coming out for like almost 30 years. Leave it alone.
No kidding. And that it's getting I mean, hell, it's getting a remake.
Yeah,
It hasn't even ended and it's already getting a remake.
yeah, it's great.
So, it's
It's like
fantastic. But
living
yeah,
back
no,
my childhood watching it on Toonami.
I do think that like they know that a lot of people love One Piece, but they also know that a lot of people don't want to watch One Piece or read One Piece because of how much there is. So with them rebooting it, I feel like it's almost perfect for the fact that we are at the height of popularity for anime
Do you want to?
and they just want to get people into the series, so let's reboot it so it doesn't A look as old, but B it's more digestible because they'll get rid of some of the pacing problems
No, no,
that
no.
they've had in the
A
past.
bold take, and
Oh
they
boy.
would never do this in a million years. I don't think.
What's up?
Um, just make every arc into a movie.
No. There's so many arcs, later arcs that are way too long.
Make it a couple parts. Who cares?
That you would have to have like 4 or 5 movies,
Yeah, why not?
if not more.
And I'm not saying movie as in like you literally just take every single episode and mush it together and you create a movie. Like splice things in and out. Like, I don't need to see a bunch of like filler stuff. It's okay. You can just zippity doo dah over to different parts.
But that's the thing. Not everything is like zippity doo dah. Like,
No, no, no. I get it. Again, I'm like I said, it's never going to happen a million bajillion years. I already knew that going in. And as someone who's only watched whatever was airing at Toonami within the 2 years that I was watching it when it was airing, like I maybe got through 2 full arcs within One Piece, like the beginning arcs, so not much. Um, I know. I can estimate out the length of each arc moving forward, and it would be literally impossible to do what I'm saying. But
yeah.
it doesn't mean that they haven't thought of it. And it's just an idea. Like rebooting the series from beginning, very cool. I like that. Give it a little HD gloss to it, right? Maybe clean up some animation bits here and there where you can to make it look like some of the newer episodes that have been airing, because I see clips, boy oh boy, it looks really pretty. Um
hmm
yeah, that'll work too. But, you know, where you can fit in a movie, why not just do it? Why not? Why not
I
make
feel
an
like
why not make a filler art? Like, do you know how frustrated I was as a kid? And I say kid, I was in high school when I was watching Bleach. Um, I came across, we'll say, the entirety of the Bleach library. All right, and I was sick during a full like 2 weeks basically in the summer, and I was like, I'm going to just steamroll through Bleach. Do you know how frustrated I was when I came across 2 full seasons that were just filler? Like had nothing to do with what was going on, purely filler.
But here's the thing,
How I'd have
the
longed
One
for it to
Piece
just be a
filler
movie.
the One Piece filler isn't necessarily, like, made up content, that's
No,
actually relatively low amount, like, most of it is just, like, extending
no, no,
out
no.
the chapters.
I'm using Bleach as a just an example of like
Okay.
you could, if you wanted to, consolidate something into a movie. Now, granted, you're gonna lose some of the content in the making of it unless you literally just take everything one to one, which then in that case you would just air the episodes as is, right?
Right.
I get it. All I'm saying is if you have an opportunity to do so, if you're mapping it out and you're like, we've got a crunch of time between episodes this and that, where we could really just truncate it down to like an hour and a half or 2 hours of content, throw that bitch into a movie. Just why not? Especially
It
if it's something that's
it
already
just
aired, right? What I'm saying, like not moving forward. Certainly don't do
Right,
an Attack on Titan, don't do a My Hero Academia, right? Like
right.
definitely not suggesting that. I'm saying for the past ones, like why not maybe take it, maybe even something like an arc that people loved back in the day, right? Like a true at home one. Give it the special treatment you can through movie, like through movie money, basically.
I'm just
If you
thinking, and I
have
don't think you really could except for, like, maybe the first arc or 2.
right, so that's but I mean that's fine. All I'm saying is if you have the means to do so, by that I mean if you can feasibly do this without ruining the identity and DNA of One Piece, try it. Why not? Right? If it comes at the expense of just destroying it and mutilating it, certainly do not. Which again,
Yeah.
why I preface it by saying they would never do this in a million billion years. But again, who knows? I am
Yeah.
not one that has watched through the entire One Piece library, nor am I one who has read through the entire manga series. Okay, so I'm kind of speaking
As
in
somebody
hyperbole.
as somebody who has, it would be insanely
Ooh,
difficult to
la
do.
da.
Well, suck my butt. But yeah, no, I have read it. I've watched most of it. It would be insanely difficult to do because they're either way too short of arcs, in which it's like a couple volumes, like 2 volumes, 3 volumes,
It,
or it's like 10 to 20.
if we've learned anything, and I'm not saying you take them.
Yes, I understand. That they've made movies for short and they've made movies for longer, and it's dumb. And I don't think that I don't think Oda would agree to do it because he has a
No,
lot of
that
say, but I don't think that it would be a smart idea to make any sort of One Piece canon movie.
hence why I said from the very beginning they would not do this in a million billion years. But
Then why are
again,
we talking about it?
I because to your point, no one's going to sit down and watch 5,000 episodes of the anime right now. And
Right.
rebooting it, albeit cool, and fantastic for fans who might want to just try to dabble in it from the beginning, like give them a chance to experience what it was like when it was first airing is great. But if you really want to get someone to do it, just find ways to make it a little bit more digestible. Again, I skipped the 2 filler seasons in Bleach. I didn't give a shit. It didn't do anything for me. I went back and watched them later and I was like, wow, you know what? Glad I skipped you. You were
I will
useless.
I will say, before we move on to our number ones, Oda did say recently for the remake that the writers that are writing the new series should consolidate some of the arcs down and take some of the stuff out just to make it a bit more acceptable. However,
Oh,
that's not
oh,
saying make a fucking movie.
wow.
Suck my asshole. What's your number one?
Wow. Akane Banashi.
Yes, that's my number one
So
as
it's
well.
not surprising.
Drum roll.
It's also not even a
Drum roll.
it's not even a competition. Like Akane Banashi arguably has completely shifted the identity of what a Shonen Jump series is going to be like moving forward.
Yeah, 100%. It's
Like, and not the content, right? I'm just talking about how it's written. I'm talking how it's paced. I'm talking how it's presented.
and
Okay,
also just like
it
the character, like the
yeah
character interactions too.
yeah it it certainly did show people that you don't have to have a One Piece or a My Hero or a Jujutsu Kaisen or Chainsaw Man. Like ones that are purely like, yeah, this one's for the teenage boys and this one's all about action and this one's all about just intensity and raw, right? Akane Banashi is like, cool. I'm gonna make a series about Rakugo, which is an old fucking art in Japan that
Yes.
I would argue, I mean, certainly not many people outside of Japan know, but I would argue that most younger generation in Japan doesn't really know a lot about either.
Yeah.
And make it entertaining to the point that it will become one of the, if not the best new series on Shonen Jump. And they
Yeah.
did it. Then
I,
they did it through the writing, they did it through the characters, they did it through how it's paced because they did an excellent job going through tournament arcs, making it not grueling,
feel like a
but
tournament arc.
yeah, not just a slog, but actually like entertaining along the way where you read it and you're like, oh shit, it's already done. Wow, that was pretty quick. All right, cool. But you
Yeah.
still got a lot out of it. Like this type of series, I feel like we're going to see more and more of moving forward. And it is a very nice change of pace for Shonen Jump where you're not getting the cookie cutter type repeats of other shonen esque series, just restylized and with a different view or perspective upon them. You're getting entirely new, fresh ideas that are, albeit not mainstream, but exclusively geared towards like just pure entertainment. Like I knew
Yeah.
nothing about Rakugo going into it, and I'm like, fuck, do I try to go to a Rakugo show and I'm when I go back to Japan? Like, should I fucking is there a way to like experience that? Like that's sweet. Like that's getting that type of feeling from a manga is kind of a rarity.
Yeah. For me, as to, I mean, kind of take your sentiments and just kind of duplicate it. I think that it's made it's almost like a slice of life. It feels like a slice of life, but it is still shonen. They've really done a good job about camouflaging this type of series because it does fall into shonen tropes of uh you comedy out of nowhere, having your random serious moments out of nowhere, having your tournament arcs, having your training arcs, having your rivals, etc. Like it has all of the makings and tropes of a shonen, but it kind of disguises it more of a slice of life because there is no quote unquote action. And the stories that they tell through the Rakugo storytellers, they are presented to the audience, they're presented to us in such a fashion that has such a completely unique and different art style from what we're accustomed to with a regular story, like when they're talking to the main characters, everybody else in this show. That it's like when you get those stories, it's nice to see because it's in such a goofy, weird, kind of like old-timey Japanese painting style of art. And I
Yeah.
think that also in my opinion, there hasn't really been a bad arc in this series.
Nope.
I can't think of one singular bad arc in this series.
Nope.
Because it didn't really necessarily start slow. Like it built a world rather quickly and very well in the sense of like it gave you enough details, but it also kept some things back from you that it could reveal later on, that it felt like it went quickly, but it also didn't feel like it was too rushed.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that I appreciate that from a storytelling perspective, when you can nail pace, nail your world and world building, your characters, your writing, everything about it. Um, my only fear about this series is that when it does get an anime adaptation, because it will, I don't know how well it'll translate to film.
Oh,
You know,
I think it's going to be even better as an anime because you have more freedom in animation style to depict what is limited in written and drawn form.
right?
Like your capability of taking something from paper and transitioning it to screen is almost limitless in the sense of like you can expound upon an idea or a page to areas that are like far beyond the reach of just written. And so I think for this type, for a kind of an ashi, since it's all about rakugo, and what you were alluding to with how when the rakugoka are up on stage telling a story and like the art style changes and you're getting like basically like a panel to panel uh, translation as if you're listening to the story and watching it kind of unfold in front of your eyes. That's all going to be reimagined in the anime, and I think
Yeah,
that's going to like I think that's going to be the piece that people will gravitate towards the most once they start watching it. Because I think the hardest part about reading it is like it feels as if you're reading like from a Western perspective, I guess. It's like you're reading a manga about a person that's really into theater and is an actor, right?
actor.
Like yeah, like basically a playwright, like acting in a Shakespearean play, or Oscar Wilde, or whomever your most favorite playwright is. Like that's the equivalent here, and it's like yeah, you can make it entertaining, you can get creative with it, I guess, but there's still like some boundaries in that. Like you have to be somewhat interested in that area, right? Like to some degree. I think the reason why many people outside of Japan probably have gravitated towards is that we don't know a lot about Rakugo. We don't know the stories. Like we don't know the history behind it. Like it is a very old art. And for that reason alone, like I was very much interested in it. And I'm sure a lot of other people were. But then as you read it and you can feel the level of intensity in scenes, like you get your almost to your what you were saying too as well. Like you get your almost immediate kickstart into the hero's journey, right? You get the call to action, you get the kind of immediate like, I don't know, and then you get the turnaround. I can't remember all the things. My literature teacher would probably funk me if I couldn't remember the hero's journey.
She would
Um,
what?
Flunk me.
Oh,
But yeah, like that is surprising coming out of a manga that's not all swords and superpowers and stuff like that. So
cursed energy, cursed powers,
stop.
domain expansion.
Domain expansion. Taco Bell after 3 a.m.
Out your booty hole.
But yeah, the other thing though I was gonna say that I really love, and it's just a personal piece to it, is that like the way the stories are brought to life within the manga as the Rakugoka is like performing is how I read books, like how I read like novels, in that it really get in like invested into the story so much so is that like I'm creating the world in my head. Like I'm able to depict the characters that are, being portrayed. I'm able to develop like their personalities. I can hear their voices. Like I can create a voice for them, right? Like that level of like investment into a story is what I do when I read. And like seeing that to some degree like come to life in this manga is kind of cool, right? Because
Yeah.
it's as if you're living through not the Rakugoka, but like the audience, and they're watching the movie being told in front of them, and then you like snap back and you realize, oh, it's just a single person on stage telling a
Making all
story. Yeah, doing all the different voices, making the different faces, like, basically just having a conversation with themselves.
yeah.
And it's
No.
just it's super cool. I think there's a panel, we won't spoil it for obvious reasons, but there's a panel that you and I both love where the main character is basically like I imagine it's like the Monopoly man overseeing like the Monopoly world.
Yeah, that's in chapter 100 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It's like that panel sort of encapsulates what we're talking about, in that like they create these whole worlds, and it sucks because you're only hearing it. You're not like seeing it, but the way that the manga portrays it is like as if it's a movie being developed right in front of your eyes. It's just that aspect is really cool. The creativity of this, the storytelling, the pacing. I think this is kind of now set a nice
New
stage for
standard.
other. Yeah, I wouldn't even say a new standard. It's just sort of set the stage, pun intended, for other series that branch outside of the normalcy of what people imagine Shonen Jump series being like, and gives them an opportunity to be like, hey, look, I'm doing really well. Give it a shot. You don't
Which
have to
is
be the next.
why I have hope for Hematen.
It's not, dude. That is so far fetched. That is
Oh,
you are so in your
I
own little
have
world to think
hope.
that Hematen is.
I
That's
have hope.
that meme of like the three-headed dragon. It's like the two dragons that are like super
Yes, I
intense.
know. And then
Yeah,
just the
it's
one the
it's a
"Huh?"
Kane Banashi, it's a Ruri dragon, and then the fucking derpy one is Hematen.
Have you even read Hematen?
Yes, I have.
What the
It's
fuck,
it's
man?
not it's not is it's good, and that's all I can say about it.
God damn it.
It's good.
I think it's fantastic. But know what? I think y'all are fantastic for making it this long. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We greatly appreciate you listening, watching, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Thank
Wherever we are.
wherever Ruri Dragon where you are. No, we greatly appreciate you sticking it out and taking the time to listen to us. We do really appreciate it. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. But if you want shorter form content, we will be on the Tiki Taks and the YouTube Shorts and maybe on Instagram. We try to post daily, and by we, I mean Tyler's been posting daily recently. I will be trying better at doing this. I hope, I promise, I shall help one day.
I shall
Um,
I shall help.
I shall help one day. No, I've been so kind of burnt out and everything else and just busy with
Yeah.
life that I just haven't had the opportunity. So I will be back on the short form content soon, as well as Magically Average will continue. But you can find us on all the socials for the short form content, and you can find us at any local podcast, any podcast service, as
It's
well
going
as
off the
YouTube
rail.
for these videos. And yeah, thank you so much. Until next time, Spark Triumph. We'll see you then.